If you want to, you can.
All the meetings of the MATC Board of Directors into session. Is there any incidental information? Or
I don't have anything this month from Wamego anyway.
I don't know that this is any valuable information, but I'm curious what kind of an impact the construction of Kimball is having on your traffic flow.
Nothing that we've noticed negatively. We were having visitors like crazy, checking things out. They're coming in one of the 3 other ways without any problem.
Boss is not here yet?
No. David just started waiting, getting started until you got here.
And I'll surrender with the gavel. to-
No, go ahead.
If only Washington was this collegial.
That thing like a hot potato.
Nobody watched those. Okay.
That's a good question, thank you. So we've covered incidental information after you get up and running.
So there was no board reports?
Just-
Unless you have one.
I do not. So we're on to considered agenda.
You have a chance to look through that
How do I
and
turn this thing off? Got it.
it's neat. So we have quite a few this just in to share with you. Where should I begin? At the start of the legislative session in January and back into last fall with the state economy, the governor had proposed a 10% cut in our funding. We assumed Excel and CTE, what we do at the high schools, was going to be prorated, not restored. Universities were going to be cut, et cetera. The governor signed the omnibus budget bill last Friday. We're still waiting for official word from KBOR. But we have full funding of Excel and CTE, no cuts in tiered and non-tiered funding.
Right.
And then we will have for FY22, 1-year capital outlay just for the technical colleges, about $619,000 apiece. Our normal is $130,000. So we came out pretty strong. The capital outlay from the legislature will be more restricted to equipment because it's part of the maintenance of effort to protect the stimulus funds coming to the state from the feds for K-12 and higher ed. But that added with the stimulus funds we have from, I call it STEM 2 and STEM 3, Carmel and I are working on, gives us some ways to address budget gaps from this current fiscal year, which is almost over, and then looking at Wamego renovations and looking ahead. There are some restrictions on the use of the funds. They can be used for capital projects unless it's applied to an athletic facility, and you cannot purchase real property. Okay. So we came out with the legislature pretty strong. I think I had a part with some of it with the lobbying I was doing, but it came out better than we thought.
When you say purchase real property, does that include build real property? Because the real property is being donated.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Right now, Sarah, Nathan, Carmela, Josh, myself on the periphery, but they're meeting with our architects so we can put together the phases on Wamego. I'm meeting tomorrow with Lyle Butler and Brent Bowman on some steps we're going to be taking, and Harry Watts. The first thing we're going to work on are the science labs at the Wamego Center. Next thing, and this is after we get things repaired by the city of Wamego, because twice in the past few days, they've cut through lines. First, they cut through our power line, or water, they cut through the water line.
The water line.
And then
They're
they cut-
putting power.
Yeah,
cut
and then they
water
cut through the IT
line.
line.
The WTC line.
Big save.
The city messed up, and that's okay, they're fixing it now, they're owing us. Had a good talk with the city manager. Part of what our architect is working on are what we need for running utilities to the third building. Water, power, and sewer. And we'll be asking the city to donate those because the city wants us to put in welding and other things. About a month ago, Representative Highland put together a meeting that I was involved with Jack Alston, representatives from CAT, Secretary of Commerce and Lieutenant Governor Toland, and State Senator O'Shea. And this morning I had a voicemail message from Paul Allen at CAT because I had shared with him, here's what we need. And we're going to be getting, if we work everything out, we're going to be getting a cash donation of $165,000 if we can match with the Community Foundation Challenge Grant. And then they're going to donate $200,000 in kind with supplies and equipment. So that added to stimulus funds, capital outlay funds, enables us to go over to building 3, get the city to work with us, put in welding. Then we're going to be looking at construction trades and probably electrician training. We're hosting a meeting over there in a couple of weeks with various bankers from the area. And then another meeting will be with people involved, who need truck drivers and diesel mechanics. Because MCM has said they'll donate property to us in the industrial park at Wamego if I can get funding for a building so we can put in CDL and diesel. The stimulus funds aren't going to stretch that far. So we're working on a grant to the Sunderland Foundation, but we're also going to be trying to think how else can we put some funds together. We need a Butler building.
Mhm.
Last Wednesday night, the Manhattan School Board unanimously approved moving forward with the Career Academy planning. Kristen Brighton will be their rep on the committee. So we're having a meeting on that as well coming up. Those are the big ones, right?
Yeah.
Plus a lot of other things that are all going. So those are all things that happened since Friday.
Just Friday.
Yes,
I love it when a plan comes together.
Awesome.
we need to back up because we need to approve the consent agenda. We did not get
Yeah.
approval on that.
Sorry.
So, no problem. And
Move to approve.
Second,
I second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Sorry about that.
Okay.
It's all good.
It's all good.
So do we want to skip down to organizational update then? Attachment 3 for Carmella?
Yeah, it's part of the consent agenda.
Okay.
You can look at it. It's approved. But she's at her new residence in Yorktown.
I am really
Sunshine.
getting settled.
Yeah, I don't think you've had quite as much rain as we've had.
Does anybody have any questions on the minutes or the check register?
I do not.
No.
Okay, if we move on to general agenda then.
So with Wamego, you can jump in anytime. The city's working on repairs. We're working on plans for those renovations, as I mentioned. Sarah's working with folks at the school district. They're undergoing a lot of changes.
Yep.
But again, the school board's talked with both of us. We've worked with them a lot this past few months. Then plus the other districts and these other opportunities. Anything else on Wamego?
No, we have another meeting tomorrow with TBN to finalize some plans so that we'll know costs of what we need to finish sciences and then the third building. We went to Washburn, me, Nathan, and Andrew went to Washburn last week before to look at their Greenlee lab, which will be the electrical lab that we'll be putting into play. So we have an idea of what we need space-wise and equipment and those pieces and stuff so that we can properly do the expansion of the Wamego facility so we can put it in place. Board.
And the school district has discussed with you about construction trades.
Yeah, we'll be taking over construction technology at the high school. Mr. Cat, the principal, reached out. They've been having issues trying to hire a construction instructor. They had one and he put in his resignation. And so we'll be offering OSHA 30 and CER level 1, same thing we do with the other high schools with our partnerships. With that being said, though, then the interest in construction technology has gone up. So we'll actually be increasing our class size here to 30 students and hiring a program assistant. The need is that high.
And the interest is there.
Yes, yes. Yes. So,
The 600,000, is there a time limit on that it's got to be spent by?
During FY22, so from July through next June. Then supposedly the legislature has to do the same thing the following fiscal year to satisfy the stimulus funds requirement. We're not sure that the legislature, they don't have to follow the breakdown they've done this year, but we're working on that. So we're hoping to get a matching amount of that the following year as well. By that time, if we have the funding put together for CDL and diesel, we can spend a lot of equipment money real fast.
I'm sure your design team is on top of the stuff with you guys, but lead times of equipment
I know.
materials is just awful.
We're aware. On the Career Academy, again, we'll have a planning meeting coming up soon. While, we're leaning about the current ninth grade center, it's not set in stone. One of the things is to make sure that's a structurally feasible building. There's pros and cons to it. But we'll be pushing that project forward and coming up. It has a ripple effect wherever we decide to put the Career Academy. For Sarah and her group to work on what programs do we put in that space. And if it moves from here, then it creates a ripple effect. It's all good, but it's a domino effect. Then you add in Wamego, then you add in, oh yeah, you got a phone call Friday from Randolph or Blue Rapids,
yes. Blue Valley.
Blue Valley, yeah, sorry.
So then Blue Valley called last week wanting to talk. We met with the principal and their industrial engineering instructor, whatever, ag instructor. And they have the funds and equipment to put in welding and be able to do our full first semester, so certificate A welding. We have, with it being so far north, we get students from up in that area with Marysville and everything, but it's a little more difficult to grab those students. And so they've already got an instructor who's actually working on his master's in engineering, and he's got 20 plus years in the welding industry. He wants to teach, he wants to get into teaching. And so tomorrow we'll go check out their facilities and everything. They're running into some red tape in regards to him getting his teaching certificate. And I kind of was like, well, guess what? I can take care of the red tape if you let me take it over. So we're gonna have those discussions about, once again, METC program, METC faculty, teaching welding at that facility. The other thing they brought up was vet tech. They already do a partnership with the fostering of animals up there and another veterinary place up there with some training and stuff. And so we might have a new pathway that Casey and I are researching into. But my thought is the more that we can find these partnerships where it's not our overhead, but it's our curriculum, it's in a sense, it's very easy partnerships. It's easy money coming into the college where we're awarding credit. And we're building the partnership and expanding ourselves even more into that regional aspect of what we want to
Strike
get
the
to.
word easy, other than that, everything she said.
Once I get it in place, it's easy.
On the Blue Valley discussion, any opportunities there bringing in Riley County
Mhm.
School,
All of that.
Valley Heights?
The principal's already dealt with some of the partnerships at other institutions he's been at, and other schools he's been at. So sometimes what you run into working with superintendents and principals is that they're all about, just their students and doing stuff within their campus for their students. He's already laid out there that, this instructor could teach during the day for the high school and then open it up in the evening for the community. So he's already on that frame of thinking. I don't even have to get him there. He's the one that brought it up with me. And so I'm like, sold. So we can definitely do this. There's some accreditation requirements and pieces on the back end that we'll have to go through, but to me, it's a no-brainer.
Since you bring that up, how does that affect our HLC?
I have to reach out to our liaison with HLC. I'm gonna get some clarification on when do we need to go through the process of reaccrediting another facility? I don't know if they ran into a situation where it's not ours, that it's owned by a secondary institution. It's just our program that's being taught there. So I gotta get some clarification on that. We know that once we put the welding and the electrical program in place in Wamego, we're gonna have to go through a separate accreditation to accredit that as an additional location.
Right.
That's kind of like we kept talking about, that's an external site. It'll become an additional location at that point. So I gotta get some clarification on how does it look with the high schools, because we're doing more of that. And with the Career Academy, if I up and pick up a program is put in a different location, we're gonna have to reaccredit that site as well, so.
Tech ed's the hot topic.
Well, how did that work with the automotive with the high school?
We only do a small percentage of the full program there.
Okay.
If it's no more than 50%, then it's still an external site
Okay.
under that. So we're cool there because it's right now it's only 4 courses of the whole 2-year program.
Okay.
Good question though. See, you're getting attention. I'm good.
Every once in a while.
So when we add funds from stimulus 2 and 3, we add in what CAT does in the challenge match from Greater Manhattan Community Foundation, and we add in the 600,000+ for capital outlay in FY23. That puts us at about $2 million to make up revenue losses, apply towards renovations, other needs. So for this college, we're in pretty good shape. But again, we want to be very careful. There's some restrictions on that, but it's going to enable us to put some things in place and keep moving forward. Okay.
Of course, I want to move to the fire program, but that's for another day.
I'm working on it.
I know,
Already got plans.
it's for another day.
Got it. Don't worry, I will be bringing that very shortly for your approval.
Okay, anything else? Discussion of ends. President update.
I've run through most of ours.
Okay.
VR, no mask, unless you haven't been vaccinated. I mean, we recommend safety protocols, but no problems with that.
Well, here's my question then. I've been hearing rumblings from other higher institutes of requiring students for next semester to be vaccinated in order to.
We're not going down that road. The only students that are being, and even the students are being required, it is within our nursing packet that you have to get the COVID vaccine because our clinical partner sites are requiring it. The students still have a choice.
And I'm going to say EMS would probably be the same way.
But if there's clinical experience or even a required internship that would require it, they have to do that to complete the program.
But that isn't us telling them it's required.
Right.
It's another entity taking on that liability and
Correct.
making that decision if they're going to give any exceptions to it.
Correct.
So it's taking us out of the liability situation of it all. And so everything is based on guidelines. We're setting the expectations and then we're dealing with each situation individually. So right now we have the new cohort of ADNs and LPNs that are coming in. So we have a couple of students that are, fighting us a little bit on the whole COVID thing. And we're telling them, we can do medical exceptions. You got to get the documentation. The clinical site will make that determination. If they don't accept it, you still have a choice. We're telling you these are the requirements to take our program. You either meet the requirements to complete your clinical rotations, or you don't and find another nursing program. Those are your choices. That black and white.
And so far, we've had no issues with any incidents.
Sure.
Is Chris still with us or is he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi. Aw, come on, man.
Come on, man. What?
So tell us what's up. Before you start, I did share with him a news item that came out today. There's some bison running around wild in Bella Vista, Arkansas.
Yeah, we're gonna take the construction tech trailer down and bring some home and give them a nice home out on the front lawn.
With like a technician screening program we're gonna put in.
What's up with Title III and adult ed, sir?
Sure. So Title III, we are in the process of interviewing for the distant education support specialist / activity coordinator. This position, it will be hired under Title III, but it's ultimately going to be absorbed by the college and will be the main support piece for both faculty and students for like Canvas or anything related with that. So they will actually be under Kim. So I've been working really closely with Kim. We've already done one interview. We're just looking to try, we redid the job description just to try, not description, the title, to try and get a few more people. Sorry, my computer's doing all kinds of noises right now. To try and get a few more qualified individuals in. As far as Title III, I'm kind of just waiting for the end of the year report. I've reached out to Carolyn Brown. She's part of Pinnacle Evaluations. She will be doing our final evaluation probably in August, I would imagine, just to wrap everything up. We are slowly dwindling down the remaining balance from that grant. We've had to move the money just a little bit just because with staff changes and everything, but we're looking at what resources we need in the testing center in Wamego. So I've been working with Josh and Carmelo on that. As far as adult ed, exciting. The week of graduation, we actually had 2 students graduate. And I believe for sure one of them will be joining us in December. So that brings this year's graduation total so far to 14. I still have, we have 21 students signed up to come to our new student orientation tomorrow for the summer session. So I look forward to having a few more students in for that. ESL, we have 12 new students signed up, and our numbers are starting to bounce back. I don't have anything final right now, but we are right at about 2018 numbers for when we moved over to the program. So we're sitting at about 110 students active, but we have blown away. We have about 163, I believe. I don't have that report right in front of me. 163 students that have applied for our program and either are waiting for a future orientation date or they haven't attended an orientation yet. Other fun news, the KBOR approved and the Tech Ed
Authority.
Thank you. I knew it was an A of some kind. They approved tentatively our budget, and our program remained completely flat, which is wonderful news. So again, we're just working on that. And like, I don't know if Jim already touched on this because I was running around with my phone trying to get my computer to work. The school district did approve moving over the delinquent taxes from the mill levy from last year, which was about $138,000. So that will obviously help us with this year for the local match. Any questions?
Any questions for Chris? That gets us up to what, about 85 total GED graduates since you've moved over here to the college?
With those 2 students, we're at 74.
74, okay. Good. Very good. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Commencement update?
Yep. Neil was supposed to be here.
It says Sarah.
I know, his boss. Everybody's moving. He just moved houses, not states. I guess I should say that. Commencement went really, really well. Got a lot of positive feedback about having it at UCC. I have a feeling that that's probably where we're going to stay. We didn't run into the typical issues that we do with trying to have it at K-State. It flowed very, very well. We had a lot of opportunities to honor the students, whether it be on stage or special pictures behind the stage. Being able to split it up, we let parents and guests attend, which really was what we were wanting to fulfill with that. The idea is that we'll probably stick with having nursing separate. We think that worked out really well, having a penning and commencement together, and then having our regular graduation commencement for the rest of the programs. Then that way, as we grow, we're not outgrowing our space and stuff. Plus, it's already built in with overflow. within that facility, but they're cheaper than they're cheaper with K-State. We'll be able to get some pieces that we need to fully be able to do our own without having to rely on other entities to provide different things like flags and things of that nature. But it worked out well. Parking, I mean, the stuff we normally ran into, we just didn't this time around, even though it was a brand new location. So it went really, really, really smooth. So I want to thank the board members who were able to attend and support our graduates in that, because it really was a great event. If you haven't seen it, watch the live stream.
The one thing that I would say that I noticed at the end of the graduation ceremony on Saturday, there are a lot of people that want to take pictures.
Mhm.
So if we could move some of our swag around, we have the higher education, those kinds of things, just a place for them to be able to do that in the future, I think would be beneficial, because a lot of people were kind of trying to find the right spot, and there were people
To do
taking
it.
pictures outside, so,
That's a good remark. It's because
Couple top areas.
yeah.
typically we have one set up when we're at K-State, we have a picture kind of prop set up because there wasn't any place to do that. Well, we took the official picture behind the stage. It was already set up, this really, really nice setup to be able to do that. But you're right, we didn't think for parents and
Well,
stuff.
part of it was
themselves,
with
so,
COVID, we were
yeah,
trying to be careful.
so that's
We'll make some of those changes.
Yeah.
absolutely, thank you.
Yeah.
Casey's making note of that, I'm like, yeah, very good.
Faculty Senate,
Mr. Cook?
How's everybody doing?
good, how are you?
Not bad. With faculty, a lot of us are, I think, kind of relaxing now, to be honest. And I know I'm heading out for a vacation. I haven't taken a vacation in 3 years. So the wife said go or divorce. So one or the other.
She wanted you to go with her, or she's telling you to leave?
No, she wants me to go with her. She said,
Oh, okay.
you got to get away from teaching and go. So we're gonna head out. And one thing I was going to bring up though, when my son graduated Saturday at Wamego, I was really surprised how many times they mentioned the technical colleges, and in particular us. I think that's the first time I've ever been in a graduation where I've heard technical college brought up that many times. And even the valedictorian, if I remember right, in his speech even said that. And I counting through, I think I didn't count exactly how many, there's between probably 95 and 100 graduates. And out of that, 11 of them had MATC on them. So I think that looks pretty well for us as well. So that was pretty neat. It was kind of nice to hear that, my son, with him getting his associates, they said one student had gotten his associates, and I heard a lot of rumbling through the crowd. Who is that? So it was rather interesting that I wish you would have said that it was through a technical college, but can't have everything. But otherwise, I was really, really happy to see that. Really proud. I mean, I've never heard that as much at a high school graduation. Any questions from you guys?
Yeah, and we made sure we mentioned that Brian's son was the first student to get his associate. So he graduated with associates from college before he ever graduated
Yep.
with his high school
Right.
diploma.
Yep.
So major. We have tons of students who get their certificate, but for somebody to be able to get their associates is a great accomplishment and something we can build upon to let students know that they can do it. It's possible.
Well, thank you, Brian, and all the faculty. It was a good year.
Now I want to say thank you from the board as well. And if we can get that word out to all the faculty, the appreciation that we have for a job well done, getting us through a tough year, and staying patient and working together as a team. I think it goes a long way to say how professional our faculty and staff are. We really appreciate everything from the board.
I'll definitely do that. And I really feel that COVID has made us a lot stronger as far as communication wise, as far as staff, faculty, admin, all the way across the board. So we thank you guys as well.
We don't do anything. All right. Foundation and Resource Development.
Yeah, let's do that one while she gets some other stuff. So to recap for you, Mr. Chair, got a voice message this morning from Paul Allen, the general manager at Caterpillar in Wamego.
Mhm.
165,000 cash donation, 200,000 in kind.
Wow.
The 165 we can match with the challenge grant for the Greater Manhattan Community Foundation. Plus then the stimulus funds, and then the legislature is providing each tech college with 619,000 for capital outlay for FY22. So Harry and I are meeting tomorrow with Lyle Butler and Brent Bowman on some big picture stuff to keep things moving at the Career Academy, Wamego, et cetera. School district reached out to Sarah Friday, wanting us to visit with them about taking over welding. And have school board, unanimously moving forward, planning and action stuff. So wow, lots of stuff happening.
Yeah. That's great.
Thank you.
To the item before, the one you just discussed. So on board members, my apologies for not working on this sooner. You guys are a very good board for us to work with. The HLC folks during the exit interview were really impressed with your knowledge. So I would appreciate it if you'd all agree to hang in there a while. I think we're gonna have some amazing things happen over the next several months, next year and a half. We're not giving up on Junction yet either. Okay. But that's kind of where we're sitting with terms, and kind of for you to discuss what you'd like to do next. If we can put the notice out to see who we can find, if you know of people we can approach, or if people whose terms are ending want to consider reapplying, we can go through the process.
So if we want to reapply, we have to go through the application process again.
Unless you all vote to not do that this time.
You changing your mind?
Stay.
Do not take that vote tonight.
That's fair. And we have open seats on the board. So again, if you think of someone we should reach out to, since we are not an elected board, we can, we kind of try to think about who can help advance things. Same with the foundation trustees. We're looking for that. I'm talking with Jared Willick. We had a very good foundation meeting a few weeks ago.
And that's in July, right? That's when the terms,
The term, yeah,
okay.
What is a full board? How many?
we would have 9.
And you're on the fence?
What?
And you're on the fence?
I think they're gonna talk you into it if we keep it up.
Counting numbers.
Yeah, she's on the fence.
Okay.
We're trying to push her back on this side.
Yeah, I got that.
it is a commitment. And you all
Yeah,
have
it
a lot
is.
of things in life, but at the same time, I think you look back, even for you that are newer, there's a lot happening and it's pretty fast. I think we're gonna have good momentum to maybe consider becoming Mid-America Technical College within a short period of time. Change the initials that way.
Pretty cool.
Saves us.
Yeah.
Don't have to check marketing.
Okay. Like you mentioned, did the foundation stuff with Harry. We've all predicted, once this starts moving, it's just gonna go and it's there.
Predicted.
Yeah.
It's there.
David, your comment about the road, like I said, Michelle, our main admissions person, she's bombarded every day with scheduled visits and then people just dropping in. It has been flat out crazy.
Don't you think with, some of the COVID, relaxing a little bit, we're gonna see a little bit more increase in students and parents wanting to come and,
I think so. Applications are very strong.
Mhm.
Applications don't mean enrollment. We won't see that for sure till fall. High school enrollment's gonna bounce back. Is it gonna bounce back to pre-COVID levels? I think it might around here. I know the state, for the economy, it needs us to come as fast as we can. From the tech college perspective, from the tech college presidents, we have had some discussions with Kevin Kelly, who runs the Peasley Tech Center in Lawrence. They just do apprenticeships. They have 9 apprenticeships in place. So we've started some discussions about how we can scratch each other's back and learn more about apprenticeships from him. Because again, that would be another pathway for the training. It doesn't have to be academic. It can be a new revenue stream because those are federal funded Department of Labor. Convincing some of my colleagues to think outside the box instead of like old white men. Sometimes we push. But we're looking hard at a lot of those things because and especially in our area, again, we have school districts that are growing. We're in a growing area. There's not many of those in the state. Our big thing, and that's again where I need the feedback from you and your colleagues, is that we're doing the programs needed for the jobs that are essential jobs in this region, construction workers, electricians, et cetera. You're not going to hear me talk about culinary arts. I'm not against it. Where are the jobs? So the big thing I need back from you, our foundation people, and the advisory committees for the programs is that we're on track to fill those essential occupations.
On the testing center.
Yep.
Do we do the block license testing here for electricians and plumbing?
The ICC
HVAC?
testing and stuff?
Yeah.
Mhm. Yes, we have all of that.
Okay,
Yep, we're approved for all that.
Okay.
Testing, yep. Yep.
because when we're talking these trades, for me to do it in Wamego, I've got to be block licensed.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we'll have that, plus we'll have
The Greenlee.
the NC3
Mhm.
certifications, credentialing that goes along with that. So, yep, no, we've had ICC for over a year.
Okay,
So yeah,
Okay.
that was a big push when we got the new construction technology instructor. That was a big push to get those pieces in place.
And again, the advisory committees for our programs, the one with construction trades, I don't know how, if you've had a chance to be involved yet.
Mhm.
But Pat Shutter with BHS, Jared, KBS, et cetera, they drive that thing. And that's
Yeah.
what we're trying to get more and more of. I mentioned that in the statewide committee meeting last week. That's what we need, an education so that we're aligned with what we're putting out. So whether it's in the business area with our business program, welding, healthcare, whatever, we don't need yes people on these advisory committees. We need business people that say to our teachers, I need this.
I've been initially approached about doing a sit down with some folks from Metal Art
Mhm.
about nursing.
Mhm.
I don't know what all they want to talk about, but
They're a
I'll
clinical partner of ours.
relay that. I know they're talking about potentially growing their program and
Mhm.
getting additional nurses. So
The guy at Lawrence is looking at trying to do a nursing apprenticeship program, but then working with us on how we can do an articulation for the credit towards the testing. I mean, again, that's why we've got to keep thinking outside the box on this. Metal Arts worked with us with our financial aid. They're making offers to our students about if you guarantee to work for us, we're going to pay your way to do CNA, to do this, to do that. That's what we need.
and I know the HR director at Carey is looking to hire some nurses too.
I heard he's a rascal.
Yeah.
Jim, have you ever reached out to National Electrical Contractors Association, NECA?
Not yet.
They have a heck of a what do I want to call it? An internship, but
Like a apprenticeship, like a journeyman thing.
apprenticeship, and training materials. When I was with K-State, they provided a lot of financial assistance to anyone that was interested in being an electrical contractor or involved with the electrical field.
Do you happen to have a contact you might be able to?
You know, I
send over
used
me?
to have, but I don't anymore, but I'll make a phone call or two and see who the new guy is.
That'd be great.
Used to be D.L. Smith out of Topeka.
Okay.
You know who that might be, right?
The only guy I remember at D.L. Smith retired here a few years ago.
And Brett, is it Tokelson?
Pardon me?
Brett Tokelson at D.L. Smith?
I don't know.
He's who I dealt with Westar.
Yep. Thank you.
Ready for executive sessions?
Mhm.